important, and that'll help you at least sell yourself out there when you're looking for these jobs. I mean, I thought all of those things were cool. I just didn't know how to tell people about it. I just went in there and said, I love sports. And it just, you know, that's why it took me a long time to get a job. If it weren't for Middlebury, I would probably still be looking, so.
I wanted, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the line here. Really? As it became revealed in the last panel, I came from a chemistry background after a couple of years, and I kind of migrated my way to English. Lindholm was essential in helping me get to England, and it really refocused me so that I could really play to my strengths and not feel like I was going to be in the eternal role in the lab. Again, please, science majors, continue what you're doing. Yeah, I crammed a lot of English and writing credits in that year abroad. I came back, I finished it off, I did my thesis, but I really got burnt out on words. And I think that helped to kind of move me along also toward photography, which I was very interested in also. I ran the darkroom at King's College in London, and when I came back I also completed a lot to the campus into alternative paper at the time, Section 8, and I don't think that's around anymore. But yes, the whole thing with images being able to speak as well as words was very intriguing to me. I ended up getting an internship or a work study program, they called it, at Aperture Foundation, Photography Foundation. They publish magazine, books, they have a gallery, and it used to be on 23rd Street in Madison, but now are in Chelsea. And they still do it, and they put out great products, great things for people to know about fine photography. I also was able to become an art handler for a time, so I was able to frame, move, pack art. What else did I do? Oh yes, I also worked in gallery opens by the hour. You open lots of bonbons, but I was able to learn much by doing all of that. So getting into communications in other forms of media was important to me. Perhaps that's the reason why eventually I ended up in radio, and then from there in television, and now on to online media and web videos.
That's a really cool point. While you're opening the wine bottles, or in my case, while I'm stuffing tickets or stuffing goodie bags, I was looking around at what everybody else was doing. What are the senior people in my company doing? Do I like their life? Do I like their job? Do I want to do that? And how did they get there? That's sort of, a lot of the next year or so of your life is probably going to be opening wine bottles and packing art and stuffing tickets and first one to arrive and last one to leave. But what's your end goal and how do you get there? I think that's sort of how it works.
I went away from nonprofits for many years. Then I returned to nonprofits recently, and I can explain a little bit more later, but that's one of my side projects outside of journalism.
For me, I really wish that I had been able to attend a panel like this. We didn't have anything like this, and in fact, we did have, everybody at Harvard was going into iBanking or medicine or something that was going to make them millions of dollars at age 23, and I was not in that category. And they did have a panel, and it was called Careers Outside the Box. I think about 15 people showed up from the entire senior class, and it wasn't a career panel. It wound up being a counseling session where they just kept telling us, don't have to be a millionaire. And I think the 20 of us were sitting there going, we still have no idea what to do. And as I said, I knew I really liked NPR. I knew I liked journalism, and I randomly sent my resume to, such as it was, to NPR in Washington, and thought nothing of it, and got out of college and didn't quite know what I was going to do. I was writing for Let's Go travel guides, and then had no plans after that, and actually got a call from a producer at NPR, and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was one of my college buddies calling up and faking me out, and I almost told her to stuff it, but she was offering me an internship, and I think that if you put yourself out there and work your connections and sell what you have, even if it's not a journalism background. I mean, we didn't have a journalism major either, and there was no way I was going to have a journalism degree coming out of college. But if you study abroad, like Paul was saying, if you have a lot of writing in your background, if you, have done chemistry and can sell that, I think that that's, as we were saying earlier, a lot of what journalism is about. And so you can really make yourself an appealing candidate as somebody who's well-rounded and interesting and smart, which everybody in this room is, and take it from there. And I mean, I got really lucky in the sense that I got a call out of the blue from NPR, which was a pretty great way to start my career. But yeah, I think if you can just put yourself out there and send your resume and don't get discouraged and call everybody you know, and something will happen one way or another that can lead you into the career of journalism.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really write for the newspaper here. I think I wrote maybe 2 articles my entire time I was here. I briefly did a little bit of, read some news on the radio, but I didn't have a whole lot of journalism when I graduated Middlebury. And I had, like I said, I minored in film, so I had a little bit of the background of kind of expressing things in words, or in pictures, but what really interested me was kind of, what I liked about journalism was the ability to kind of take that interest in a lot of different topics, also take the interest that I had in film and kind of put them together. And so I think it was, the combination of the education that Middlebury gives you in terms of writing, which I think was really, really important, learning how to communicate what you needed to communicate in words, and I think that combined with the liberal arts education really helped when I first got my first job, which was at CNN right after I graduated. And, well, not right after I graduated, there was, I moved to New York, I had an apartment, I didn't have a job, and I called everyone I knew. I, got as many informational interviews as I could, even though nobody had any jobs open. And I just met people, and I talked to them, and I let them know why I was interested in the job in news. And I think, what's so difficult about working in journalism is that they can get anyone to do that job. There are tons of people who want to work in television and who want to work as production assistants or news assistants or whatever. And I think the thing that can really have you stand apart is kind of your motivation and your enthusiasm for the job. And I think it's a little bit what Laura was saying. It's, getting to work, being enthusiastic, and putting in 110% and busting your butt, because that's the only thing I think that's going to get you noticed by the other people who are there. It's not just doing your job, it's doing your job and an extra. And so I think, that's something that I felt like was really important to me when I started. So I did my job, I met with people on a bunch of different shows to kind of learn what they did. And I think, because you go to Middlebury and you don't have a journalism degree, you don't have, I think there's a television station now, but there wasn't when I was here. So you don't have necessarily that background that a lot of people have when they have a journalism degree, but because of I think, the education that you get and the enthusiasm you get at Middlebury, you can take what you've learned and translate that into whatever your first job is and learn from the people around you. I don't feel like I missed out at all by not having a journalism degree or by not writing for the newspaper or whatever. It was as soon as you get into the job, working as hard as you can to learn all that stuff that maybe you didn't, in college. And I think that there's something to be said for, I think there's something that you get out of Middlebury education that's very important that maybe you can't learn if you were focused on journalism the whole time. And so I think that, you can pick up the technical aspects of TV production or writing or whatever that you need to when you're starting off in a career in journalism, but you also have that, great background from Middlebury that helps a lot, I think.
I think there are 2 points I'd like to make before we change the topic.
Go for it.
One is that I think that there are more opportunities now out there for journalists than there were back when I was going through it, and even maybe perhaps when you were heading out, but because the online technology has gotten to such a point that people can be valued for their opinions. They can blog, they can do a video blog.